Rams fans, welcome in on this edition of Rams Showcase. The Rams win back-to-back games and are back in the divisional race. Plus, the rest of the West returns. And later, speaking of the West, another divisional matchup for the Rams. We preview Rams at Seahawks. Let's rock.
This is Rams Showcase with your host, Sheriff Joe Bags.
Yes, welcome to it, Rams Showcase. I am Sheriff Joe Bags. Today, though, you can call me Puka Nakua. I have decided that with my hair and watching him come back that last week against the Minnesota Vikings Thursday Night Football, the hair flowing, I was like, all right, lock it in, man. Heck yes. So obviously, I know he doesn't usually wear a sleeve, but I figured I'd use an excuse to pop this bad boy out. I also know he doesn't really wear gloves. Excuse to pop this bad boy out, man. So it's all going to be awesome tonight. If you are hearing me only, though, just pretend it's normal. I'm just Sheriff Joe Bags. It's fine. But if you are watching me, you have to pretend I'm Puka the rest of the time you're watching. I don't make the rules. At Sheriff Joe Bags, at Rams Showcase, ramshowcase.com. That's where you follow along on the internet. And, of course, we got a big old football game going on this weekend, as today we celebrate Halloween on date of recording. We are a bit of a day late here, as yesterday on Wednesday, my normal recording day, did have a procedure done, so I was not available, but we are here now on Halloween, and that's why I am Puka Nakua on this day. So before we get in, I guess we are getting in. So either way, I kind of wanted to address something because I've had a lot of questions about this. And mainly these have been like private messages and stuff like that, which I actually do appreciate. I prefer when somebody doesn't just try to like publicly be like, what are you talking about? And like, if they actually are concerned, they send me a message. So I've gotten this a few times, I would say over the last few months or so, about some of my comments, and that some people don't love the things that I say in certain regards. And a few of my comments that I want to attempt to clarify, I may not be able to, is players come and go, the Rams are forever, as well as winning is more fun, but losing isn't going to make me pick a new team. So let me tell you a bit of a story here, and how I've gotten to where my fandom is today, which is very much along for the ride. The ups, the downs, I'm here for all of it, all right? I'm good with anything at this point, all right? So let me start with a story about my uncle, who is a massive Denver Broncos fan. He flew out to San Diego to watch the Denver Broncos play in a Super Bowl, and his team, the Denver Broncos, won that Super Bowl. Him being a massive Broncos fan, that's the pinnacle, right? You got to just be there at the Super Bowl, your team winning. That's got to be, you're on the top of the world. And he was, until he left the stadium. And the way that he tells this story, he talks about how exciting it was. You see the trophy presentation, all this stuff, John Elway and all that stuff, and it's massive, iconic stuff in the history of the Denver Broncos franchise, and you're at the pinnacle of fandom right there. He leaves the stadium and he's in San Diego. Nobody cares. Nobody cares that the Denver Broncos just won the Super Bowl. In fact, he's in San Diego. Most of those people aren't happy about it. How do you celebrate that? You're at the peak of fandom. All you want to do is celebrate and live in that moment, and nobody around you cares at all. Kind of fast forward to the Rams winning the Super Bowl. And I'd been covering the team for a while now. This is season 9 of Rams Showcase, but I'd covered the Rams before Rams Showcase had started in a writing capacity. And the story's always been the same. How can we get this team to a Super Bowl, to win a Super Bowl, make it there, lose it? So they were still, striving to go. And in the 2021 season, it happened. We did it. It was incredible. You felt it when Matthew Stafford in week 1 bombs it to Van Jefferson on like the 3rd play of our season. You kind of felt that it was going to be different. Rams won the Super Bowl, and the next year, making Rams Showcase, there was a little bit of like, what now? Like, we did the thing. We did what I wanted to do. What now kind of thing. And I think the team felt that way. I think that's evidenced in a 4-win season. I think I felt that way, and I think that's evidenced by watching my stuff and looking back at it and saying the passion was dwindled. Not gone, but it was certainly dwindled. So very much a what now kind of mentality. It was kind of hard to do. The do it again Like, run it back and do it again. Let's get back there right away. That felt too easy, almost lazy in a mindset. And so I kind of took a moment to evaluate my own fandom, and not in a way of like, I'm leaving this, or I'm going to stop Ram Showcase, or I'm done with football kind of thing. We did it kind of thing. None of that. But I shifted my focus into more of a truly here for the journey kind of experience. I've now gotten to watch this team win a Super Bowl as a child, because the 99 season, I was born in 91, so I was still very young for that. And then I got to watch them win as an adult. We're out to get hammered and, get all drunk with my friends and my dad and stuff like that and celebrate the Rams winning a Super Bowl. That was the pinnacle, man. And I'll never forget that. That moment lives forever. That moment lives forever. One of the best nights of my life. Confirmed. That was absolutely top notch. And then, what was it, a few months later, 2 months later, the Avalanche, my other favorite team in the world, they win the Stanley Cup. So I was at the peak. There was no possible way for me to get better. Those are my two teams. The Rams and the Avs are my top two teams. Would have been cool to see, the Texas A&M Aggies win a national championship or something like that. But that's also, that's like a secondary team. Like, it's like, yeah, I like them. I follow them. But the Rams and the Avs, I'm a diehard for those. Diehard. So I was at the absolute pinnacle. And that's kind of where I had to shift my thought process a little bit. And then I kind of was looking back at that season, the 21 season, and I really did have a moment of like, man, that moment was really cool. Winning the Super Bowl, being at my buddy's house, and being around all those fans who we had been watching for years. My dad was there. My buddy Jackson was there. We had an incredible time. And that moment, yeah, top notch. But you know what else was top notch? Week 1 against the Bears. We had the NFC Championship game, top notch. Beating Tom Brady at home in the playoffs, top notch. You've got some of those games throughout the regular season were just so much fun. And that's what I started to think about, is those moments throughout the season. Not winning a game in November and then coming back hot in December. Those are the kind of things that I was thinking about. And it really did kind of make me take into the mindset of, I'm here for the journey, man. The ups, the downs, all of it. As long as the Rams are playing football, that is my win. I'm here for all of it. Let's go use the Rams and Packers, for example, and the fact that me and my buddy Jackson have now gotten to see the Rams and Packers play in Lambeau and at SoFi now, which is absolutely insane. That's awesome. I love that I've had the opportunity to be able to do that. The Packers won both those games, but you know what? Both weekends individually, Green Bay and Los Angeles, two of my favorite weekends that I can ever remember. I got to go with one of my best friends to watch our two teams play. Top notch. And as much as I would have loved to see the Rams win those games, I also got to be at two games with one of my best friends where he got to watch his favorite team win. And you know what? That's pretty cool too. Does it suck the Rams lost? Yeah, I would have loved for the Rams to win. But to see him be able to go to two games where his team won and be there for that was absolutely incredible. That was a win for me. I had an incredible time. That Super Bowl win will always exist. Yes, that is what we shoot for every year. Week 1, you go in, let's win the Super Bowl. But I just don't think we should get lost along the way. And those moments that happen in season that are absolutely incredible. Puka Nacua coming back out of nowhere against Minnesota. That's something I'm going to remember. And then coming in and killing it. Over 100 yards. I thought he was going to be a decoy. Over 100 yards. He's on top of the world. Cooper Kupp scoring a touchdown. That game is going to live in my brain for a long time. I thought that was absolutely incredible. So those are the wins for me, man. Yeah, we want to win the Super Bowl all the time. We won all the Super Bowls, but I'm here for the whole journey. Ram Showcase is very much a podcast for Rams fans who just simply love the Los Angeles Rams. And I like to think that I've kind of been able to curate that here. And a lot of the passionate fans that are here every single week with me tend to be fans who are here for the ride, here for the ups and the downs, and just here for the love of the Los Angeles Rams. And I absolutely love that. Let's go ahead and move on. I just wanted to try to, maybe that didn't clarify it for you. And if it didn't, you know what? I don't know what to tell you anymore. I'm not going to tell you how to be a fan. That's not the purpose in any of this. If you only care about winning, that's totally fine. That is absolutely okay. I am never going to tell anybody how to be a fan of the Rams because there is no wrong way to be a fan of the Los Angeles Rams. Unless you're one of those that wants us to lose because you like high draft picks. That's wrong. Moving on. Let's dive into some transactions here. The Rams signed linebacker Tony Fields to the practice squad, which does raise a little bit of questioning in terms of what we're kind of looking at in at our inside linebacker spot. We drop Elias Neal. We bring in Troy Fields. So we'll kind of see if he is able to hop on in to the active roster or anything like that. He's a third-year player by way of Cleveland. He's got 10 NFL starts in his career, 1 interception, 1 touchdown, 48 solo tackles, 88 total tackles. No sacks in his NFL career, just 9.5 in college. So he is not a sack man. Not a sack man. All right. Also, former Rams safety Russ East signing with the Panthers active roster. So he's been on again, off again with them, back on again. Former Rams cornerback Troy Hill signing with the Buccaneers practice squad. Former Rams running back Jake Funky Town signing with the Jaguars practice squad. Also, let me look. Rams signed a punter to. I can't do this the whole time. And the hat's probably going to need to go too. It's very warm in here. We'll figure that out. Let me see here though. Because the Rams did make a punter move today, which I have not heard anything on Ethan Evans. So maybe there's more info here, but let's see. Where'd that tweet go? So signed to the practice squad is punter Ryan Sanborn, and terminated from the practice squad is wide receiver Sam Wiglis. So a little bit of a shakeup there. Maybe it's possible that our boy Ethan is maybe dealing with something. So getting a little bit of insurance on the practice squad. So we'll kind of keep our eyes on that. In other news, the Rams did give cornerback Trey White permission to explore a trade. Seems like this may or may not happen, as the Rams have expressed their desire to keep him on the roster. It sounds like, and I think we've been kind of told that the idea with Trey White coming into the Rams roster was never to have him as a starter on the outside and use him kind of in different positions. The injuries that the Rams saw at the cornerback position kind of forced White into that role, and he did struggle. And then he was obviously put on for inactive for these last few games. I think he's missed the last 3, just inactive, healthy scratch. But Sean McVay did kind of mention the professionalism in how White has handled that. So it may happen where Trey White does get back to being active on this roster and is more of like a CB4, CB5 kind of guy. In the range of like a Josh Wallace on the defense, I think is where we'll kind of slot him in. Because Akello and D-Will, they've been on fire. Obviously, Durant is incredible as well. So yeah, Trey White probably is realistically the 5th or 6th corner on this team. But he's got the ability to explore a trade. If this does happen, if the Rams do get rid of Trey White, fully anticipate return of like a 6th round pick, something low, and probably not much more. Could do the Les Snead special player and a 7th for a 6th round pick. That would not surprise me at all in the Trey White situation. The Colts bench quarterback Anthony Richardson. This is not Rams related, but I do agree wholeheartedly with the call. AR did pull himself out of the game last week and then tells the world that he was too tired. He was just a little too tired. Matthew Stafford gets put on life support out there on the field, and he's finishing drives. But AR, he claims that he's the 2nd best running quarterback in the NFL, and then he pulls himself out because he's winded. So clearly you're not, because you can't even hang when you do run, Anthony Richardson. So this also happened in the 3rd quarter. 3rd quarter. You realize that we say terms like he's in mid-season form as like this should be when you're at your peak. Like this is when you're at top notch. Like this is when all systems go. And you're pulling yourself out because you're tired, bro. Whew. Oh, man. Matthew Stafford would need to leave in a hearse to get him off a football field. I truly believe that. Matthew Stafford would never, dude. Not my quarterback. No, sir, dude. No way Matthew Stafford would ever do this. And I could just hear Dick Vermeil right now. Like, I don't even remember the exact, was it 28 seconds to go? What is the line? He's like, you went out of the game with 28 seconds to go? You went out of the game with 26 seconds to go? Like, gets all crazy about, and that's like, and he's right. It's like, yeah, those guys were winded, but he's right. You don't get out of the game. And if you're the quarterback, you're 22 years old. It's week 8 in the 3rd quarter. You've been running around a little too much. You're like, I gotta get out of here. I can't do this, man. You're a professional athlete, man. And I don't want to hammer this the whole time. This is not Rams related. I'm just pretty passionate about this because I hate it. I hate it. I'm out on Anthony Richardson fully now. I don't see a way that I ever turn it around myself in my own opinions on Anthony Richardson. I'm out, and I would be. I'm so curious to know. First of all, I don't know from any Colts fans how Colts fans are feeling about this. Doesn't really matter now. He has been benched, and they say that is not a temporary move. Joe Flacco is the quarterback moving forward. But I also would be very curious to hear, and I actually have not. There probably is some stuff out there about how the players feel about this. His own teammates. Hey, offensive line, I know you guys are going to car crash every single play trying to protect me, but I'm a little tired, so I'm going to take a play off. Hey, wide receivers, I know you're going against the going across the middle, getting blasted by linebackers and safeties, trying to take your head off, but I ran around a little bit, so I'm gonna take a minute. I do love the jokes on this. I'm on my Anthony Richardson grind. It's a little tired. I'm just a little tired, so I'm gonna take a break at work. I'm out on Anthony Richardson. We don't need to keep on hammering that. But I couldn't believe that. Could not believe it. I like what Dan Patrick said too. He was like, just lie, dude, lie. Lie and say that, hey, there's something wrong with my helmet. And then take a breath, man. Or get back out there and call, audible to a run play and hand the ball off, man. You got to do something. You can't pull yourself out. You're the quarterback of an NFL team. Moving on, let's get into the rest of the West. Time to see what those other three dweebs are up to. The Arizona Cardinals, they are leading the NFC West right now. How nice of the decent teams in the NFC West to let the Arizona Cardinals feel what it's like to be in the lead of this division in the middle of the season. So kind, so giving, so thoughtful. The Arizona Cardinals 4-4, back-to-back walk-off wins for the Arizona Cardinals as the Chargers and the Dolphins hitting last-minute field goals against both those teams this week, hosting the Chicago Bears, who had a hilarious loss last week. If you missed that, you're missing out because that was so funny, dude. So funny. All right. The San Francisco 49ers sitting in second place right now, 4-4 record. They defeated Dallas last week, but have gone on like a loss-win kind of stretch almost the whole season. This week they are off on a bye week, so trying to get a little bit healthier. We'll see. Seattle Seahawks, the Rams' opponent this week, sitting at 4-4 as well. 31-10 loss to Buffalo last week at home. Started 3-0, got to 3-3, and now just kind of pacing. Vibes in Seattle are not good. We'll get into that full game preview here shortly. And of course, your Los Angeles Rams sitting at 3-4, have won the last two, and are the only team that has so far experienced their bye week. Obviously, the San Francisco 49ers there. So, if you are keeping track at home, the LA Rams at the Seattle Seahawks, obviously a win would put the Rams ahead of the Seahawks. The win would put the Rams tied with the San Francisco 49ers, but would hold the tiebreaker there. And if the Chicago Bears can also pull off the win against the Arizona Cardinals, they would be at 4-5, meaning the Rams would have a better record, would be ahead of them. So yes, the Rams can go from worst to first in just one weekend with a win against Seattle and a Bears win against Arizona. That's how easy it is. Before we get into our game preview, time to talk about today's sponsor, Underdog Fantasy. UnderdogFantasy.com, also that sweet app, dude. Got to check it out, all right? If you think that Matthew Stafford, let me pull it up here, all right? I'm going to show you how quick it is to find exactly what we're looking at here. Let me just type this in here. So we got the Los Angeles Rams at the Seattle Seahawks. You think that Matthew Stafford will rack up higher than 1.5 touchdown passes? Go ahead and bank it, dude. You think that Kenneth Walker is going to have lower than 64.5 rushing yards? Go ahead and bank it, dude. Hop on it. Cook up your own entries and stack up that cash. Football season still got plenty of time to go. We are at the end of October right now, but still plenty of time, and it makes football season and football Sundays that much more exciting. That red zone rush as well. A game you won't find anywhere else. Just pick whether or not a player will score a touchdown by swiping right for yes and left for no. It is that easy. Plus, your entry will be automatically boosted, and you'll get a 51% profit boost when you play. Underdog is available in 33 states, including California, which is big right now in the sports world. Texas, Georgia also. So go on and check it out. Underdog is the best place to play champions. Sign up and deposit now using promo code SHOWCASE to get up to $1,000 in bonus cash instantly. My favorite part about it is how easy it is to find. You can stack them up real quick. You hop on, get that search in, and you're there. Man, you are saying that Matthew Stafford's throwing for higher than 1.5 touchdown passes. You're doing that. It's that quick, I promise you. So that's my favorite part about it, is how quick and easy it is. I hate learning new apps. I'm an old man when it comes to that. So Underdog makes that super, super simple. Download the app today. Use the promo code SHOWCASE to get up to $1,000 in bonus cash instantly. Higher or lower, you make the picks, or you make the call on Underdog. Must be 18 or over, 19 or over in Alabama and Nebraska, 19 over in Colorado for some games, 21 over in Massachusetts and Arizona, and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Void in Colorado. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org. In Arizona, 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT STEP to 53342. In New York, call the 24/7 Hope line at 1-877-8-HOPE-LINE or text HOPE-NY. That is 467-369. Full game preview, Rams at Seahawks. That's headed your way next on Ram Showcase. Welcome back into Ram Showcase. I am Sheriff Joe Baggs. I had to shed the hat, man. It's a little too warm in here right now. In the last day of Rocktober here in Colorado, we're sitting a little too warm here. Let me check here my weather app and see, because it's the last day of October, dude. Why are we sitting at 52 degrees right now, man? I'm burning up. All right, this Colorado boy cannot handle the heat. If you've ever seen me in LA, feel like you know that. Let's get into our game preview. The Los Angeles Rams heading up the coast to take on the Seattle Seahawks. Seahawks at 4-4. The Rams at 3-4 can hop over the Seattle Seahawks with a win in this game. The 49ers are off, so with the Rams win, the Rams would also pass the 49ers. And if the Bears can defeat the Arizona Cardinals, the Rams would jump up from last place and fourth in the division all the way up to number 1 in the NFC West. This game kicks off from Lumen Field at 1:25 p.m. on Fox. Kenny Albert, Jonathan Vilma, and Megan Olivi. Olivi? Is that the way you pronounce that? We'll find out on Sunday. We are up against Detroit and Green Bay, so on your screen, yes, we are a little bit limited here with the blue zones. Is where we'll catch it on local TV. But just do the thing, There's plenty of ways to watch the games, even if you are in the red zone, which is Detroit and Green Bay, like I mentioned. For the weather in this game, we're looking at lower 50s, partly cloudy all game, but with daylight savings week going down this weekend. By the end of the game, we could be seeing it dark and some upper 40s, but not too terrible for what will be the first November game of the season for the Rams. For you bettors, the Rams sitting at -1.5, -124 on the money line, and over under at 48.5. So Rams are road favorites. I don't know why I was wanting to say underdogs. My brain was on underdog. And let's dive into our pants picks. So with the delay in my recording, we already do have this answer. So the Rams in the white jersey, but we'll be rocking the royal for the pants, and that means that Payo Time absolutely nailed it with the white on royal. Myself and Rams House did get it wrong, so the records on your screen do reflect this week, because like I said, my delay in recording did kind of hamper that. Seahawks will be in blue on blue for their uniform combo. Some of the notes we're looking here. So we got back-to-back wins following the bye for 2 seasons in a row for the LA Rams. That's pretty exciting stuff. The Seahawks do feel like they're in a bit of a weird spot. After starting 3-0, they fell down to 3-3, and they've kind of paced it out since then. So then you get back to 3-3, you win, you lose, and then that's where we're at now, sitting at 4-4 for those Seattle Seahawks. And some midseason issues. They got some sideline stuff going on, having some issues there. Big loss at home. Position battles going down in the secondary, even though guys are coming back healthy. So it does feel like a little bit of a weird situation in Seattle. And I would say, based on social media and the things that I am seeing, that their fan base certainly is reflecting this. The fan base is a little bit, I think, weary right now on how this season is going to wrap up. But, I mean, they got some talent. So I feel like at any time that they could kind of turn it on. But I also feel like with guys like Geno and some big personalities, but Geno, I mentioned Geno because he's not a superstar quarterback. He's just a really good quarterback in this league, but he's not like the guy, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not trying to take shots at Geno, but that's what he is. And I feel like, too, that they're like, at any moment they could pop off, but also at any moment they could fully crumble. So what are we seeing here? At 4-4, it could go either direction. So this feels a bit like a turning point, considering Seahawks are 0-1 in the division right now. So they know that to drop into 0-2 and then falling down in this division, probably fall into last place, that's going to be a tough spot for sure. The Rams, third division game of the season, losing to Arizona, defeating San Francisco, but also heads up, no word on injuries here. We don't know when Higbee is going to return. We haven't heard anything on Higbee, actually. Also, Steve Avila, we don't know when he's going to return, but his practice window has been opened, so we should hear something decently soon. So we'll see what happens. Take a look at the history of this matchup. This is the 54th all-time meeting between these two teams. Seahawks do lead the all-time series 27-26. So with the Rams win, series all-time tied on up. The Rams have won the last 2, 5 of the last 7, 7 of the last 10, and 10 of the last 14. Yeah, we're doing a pretty good job. pretty solid run against the Seahawks since the arrival of McVay. He did lose his first matchup to the Seattle Seahawks as the Rams head coach, but won the second 42-7, and really just kind of controlled the series since then. The Seahawks have gotten him sometimes, like I said, when we look at 10 of the last 14, obviously there are some Seahawks wins in there, but it does feel like, on average, when the Rams are playing Seattle, that they're going to do well. Kind of tends to be, feels like the thing right now. But also, new coach in Seattle. First time that we're seeing McDonald. McDonald. I get Mike McDaniels and McDonald mixed up all the time. But McDonald, first time we'll see him as the head coach of the Seahawks. So we'll see how that ends up going. But this division race, it's extremely tight. Obviously, we have 3 teams at 4-4, and the Rams sitting at 3-4. This is up for grabs. It is anybody's game. I'm trying to hammer that in so hard right now because, I mean, that's where we're at right now. This is the most exciting division in football. Is it the best division in football? Probably not. Is it the coolest division of football? Yeah, dude, totally. This is super exciting stuff right now because it also feels like teams like the Arizona Cardinals are overperforming. It feels like the San Francisco 49ers are underperforming. It feels like the Seahawks, I would say, are overperforming and the Rams underperforming. So it feels like there's a weird little mesh right now and it could just, any of these teams could crumble. Like we've seen with the Rams, what some injuries can do to this team. We've seen in Arizona what just having the right opponent against you, what that can do for you. And they've been able to kind of close out some games late. The 49ers, they're a team that, injuries hit them and we kind of saw what happened there. And then the Seahawks, you have a team that they don't feel as cohesive as they had in the past. And I'm not sure if that's a Pete Carroll thing or not, but I mean, they got to figure it out, right? Or not. I mean, I don't care. I don't care. The Seahawks, though, definitely experiencing some speed bumps. New head coach, though, we got some tape on him now. It's good to not get a team with a brand new regime too early because now we have a really solid understanding of the things that they are trying to do. Let's take a look at the matchup in this one. We'll start with the Rams offense against the Seahawks defense. The Rams rocking the 19th ranked offense right now in the NFL, and the Seahawks 24th total defense. These numbers, though, should be creeping up for the LA Rams, such as the passing attack, which are they're 14th right now in the NFL, going against the defense for the Seahawks, tied for 13th against the pass. And that's going to be an interesting battle to watch, considering the Rams' averages should start to jump now with their 2 superstars back in action. On the ground, the Seahawks are 29th, the Rams 26th on the ground, so that's a solid matchup there. But again, an averages or a ranking that the Rams are jumping up at right now. Have done a good job of that the last few weeks. Points being put up per game, the Rams doing almost 21 a game, that's 23rd. The Seahawks giving up a little over 24, that's tied for 19th. And on third down, the Rams are the 19th team on offense on third down. The Seahawks 21st against stopping third down. So pretty even there as far as the percentages go as well. So this actually is a really solid matchup if you look at just the numbers. When you look at just the numbers, 19th offense versus 24th defense, you're like pretty similar in passing attack rankings and running attack. Even points are pretty close and all that, all the way down. The one thing that is not reflected in these averages, though, is the return of Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua, which we saw last week against the Minnesota Vikings, is absolutely massive. It's another level of Rams offense. And you could feel it right away. You could feel it on Puka Nacua's first catch. You were like, oh, this is different. These guys are different than everybody else. D-Rob, Tyler Johnson, Tutu, I like those guys. They're not superstars. And you can feel it. You can feel when a superstar is playing. Jared Verse talked about it in his Rams Revealed episode. Top-notch episode, by the way. He kind of talked about it. He's like, yeah, you see like highlights on on the internet and stuff like that. He's like, but seeing it in person, it's like, whoa, like these guys are different, man. So, and he is not wrong, man. That's very, very different. So with 10-17 back, this offense just very, very different. Seahawks defense is something that the Rams can exploit, especially with the stars returning. The Rams are finding their groove on offense right now, but that shouldn't be a secret or a surprise to anybody. When you get 2 superstar wide receivers back in the same week, you're probably going to get better that week. Like that you jump up, right, in your awesomeness. So it's a good chance, man. 29th ranked run defense for the Seahawks, though, and the return of 10-17 makes it really feel like the Rams could open this game up offensively. If you've got your fantasy players on the Rams offense, I think this is the week to play them. I do feel really good about this matchup offensively for the Rams. Just feels like a game the Rams will be able to control. But again, Seahawks are one of those teams. They've got good players. It's a divisional game, which means everything's a bit of a toss-up. But there's also that little caveat in there of first-time head coach going against the Rams. So there's a lot of moving pieces in this one, and truly we don't understand what to fully expect out of this game, although I do anticipate that the Rams should have a good day. We got momentum on our side. The superstars coming back, we saw what that could do for a guy like Matthew Stafford, so I'm feeling pretty good about this one. But this one's an interesting one. The best matchup in this one, I think, is going to be a fun one to watch. And I'm going with Kyren Williams against Ernest Jones. Ernest Jones, man. The situation is one to watch for sure. It feels like a game that, at the very minimum, he'll be hyped up for. He's going to want his presence felt in this game. You know what I mean? But for the Rams, a chance to give a "that's why we traded you" moment. And that's rather exciting because me and Tuna actually talked about this. We were going to do a show. We just never got in contact or so like that. Life is crazy. But we were going to talk about this, about how the Rams and their valuations on trades, because I firmly believe that the Rams, the confirmation when Tennessee, what they got from Seattle to get Ernest Jones, I think is confirmation that the Rams take too little on trades. And the reason that I firmly believe that is because the Rams got back a 6th round pick for Ernest Jones. The Tennessee Titans got a 4th round pick and a player in return for Ernest Jones. And I would argue that his value was higher when the Rams moved him than when the Titans moved him, because ahead of the season, I mean, he just broke the Rams single season tackle record last year, and he's a team captain. With no evidence of what was going on internally, we trade him for a 6th, and then he goes to Tennessee and is only playing okay, where that's where I see his perceived value going lower, and they get more for him. That's a little bit concerning in my brain. But there's more to this story, and I hope we find out. I really do. I don't think we ever will, but this is a really good moment for first of all, those post-game handshakes. I'm excited for that. Pre-game handshakes, are there going to be any? What are we doing here, man? So I'm really interested to see this one with the Ernest Jones situation. Either way, though, no matter what you feel about the trade, whether you agree that the Rams traded him or you're mad that we did, either way, he's gone, and now he's full-on enemy, dude. Not only is he not a Ram, but he's a Seahawk. So, dude, you're the enemy, man, forever. So, but Kyren, he's on a touchdown run that is reaching some legendary levels. Looking to keep that going, but of course, Jones would have a lot of pride in preventing that if he is able to. So, you great position, great battle to keep our eyes on. If Kyren gives him a little step, puts him on his ankles, busts ankle guts all over the field, dude, that's gonna be so sick, so sick. All right, 3 to C on the offensive side. We'll start with Puka Nacua. Didn't even know that he would be the 17 would be playing last week when I recorded. Otherwise, he would have absolutely been on the 3 to C. Man, it was awesome. Puka's presence on this Rams offense truly next level. And now what we'll call it, getting over 100 yards last week. We're going to call that knocking the rust off for one Puka Nacua. So he should go for 176 now. Just get back into it, man. But either way, time to open it up, dude. Fantasy players, underdog players. This is where you want him for sure. Puka Nacua on this Rams offense, dude. It is awesome. So awesome. And the hair, dude. The lettuce. Digging the lettuce, man. Digging it. Matthew Stafford will be next. Last week, 9 was on a different wavelength, man. Couldn't touch 9. Had that one pick. Seemed like a bit of a bad throw. Seemed like it kind of sailed on him a little bit. Maybe he thought that receiver was going to go just a little bit more up. But then because that defender was there, I'm thinking that the receiver just shallowed that route out a little bit, and that just seemed like a little bit of a miscommunication to me. It didn't seem like a play where it's like, get him out of here, bench him. Where's like where's Jimmy at kind of thing. It wasn't anything like that, but other than that play, man, locked in. And Matthew Stafford, he was doing that thing where like even McVay going up to him, if you watch like the sounds of the game, McVay going up to him and he's like, I love you, man, you're killing me. Like, and he's just like, like, and then just sits down. That's when you know Nine is about to steal some souls, dude. And that is so sick. Absolutely love that, man. But just locked in. Absolutely fun to watch, man. Stafford with his weapons. It's just different. You can feel a heightened level of confidence when he's letting it rip, especially to the sideline on some of those throws. Puka making some catches that you're just like, this is future Hall of Famer Puka Nacua out here, dude. Like, it's that's super, super exciting, man. So next up, Demarcus Robinson, D-Rob, massive beneficiary of Kupp and Nacua being back on the football field with his 2 touchdowns last week. Only his second time in his career scoring multiple touchdowns. Love to see that. When eyeballs go to guys like 10 and 17, rightfully so. They should go to 10 and 17. Those guys are superstars. But the good news is the Rams have other weapons. D-Rob is one of those really reliable guys. He's not a number 1 in this league. We know that. But probably too good to be a number 3, so I put him at a 2. But we've got one of those as well. So no news on the future of D-Rob. He's here now, and he is a beneficiary of those other superstars being out on the field, which we absolutely love to see. Let's go ahead and hop to the other side here. The Rams defense going against the Seattle Seahawks offense. Seahawks offense is a top 10 unit. The Rams defense 22nd, but that average is creeping up, I would say pretty quickly, actually. This Rams defense has been on a bit of a run. Passing the ball, the Seahawks first in the league, man. But the Rams defense 16th, so middle of the road here. But again, those averages are creeping up. If we didn't take the full season and instead just use the last few weeks, these numbers dramatically different and a lot more even. Running the ball, 29th on the ground for the Seahawks. The Rams are 23rd against the run. That number also getting much better. The Seahawks are putting up almost 24 points a game. That's 13th in the league. And the Rams giving up almost 25 a game. That's 22nd in the league. And on third down, the Seahawks offense is 23rd, and the Rams defense is 17th. Pretty close in the percentages there as well. And like I had said, if you take the full season like we are doing, the averages on the Rams defense do seem a little bit skewed. But I mentioned that after the Arizona game, that one's going to skew and kind of be an anomaly in the averages for a while until the rest of these other games can come in and we can get those averages back down. But the return of D-Will, the return of Akello has been absolutely massive, and the run defense is playing much better as well. So if you just take like the last 2-3 games instead, because even we could look at that Packers game as well, where I think the Rams did a great job. You can go back that far and just take a look at the last 3 games for each of these teams. Those averages are very different. The Rams get defense top notch, man. We're playing very, very good football right now, entering the middle of the season, which you absolutely love to see, of course, man. Every run defense though, they're making adjustments on the Rams run defense as well. So are improving there dramatically as well. And I think it's more schematic than anything because it doesn't seem like any individual efforts are changing. Schematically, though, seem to be coming together. So that's a good plus in the Shula column. It seems like he's learning as he's going. So it's tough to judge too harshly when a guy's coached only 7 games. He's run a defense for 7 games. But it is turning, and you like to see that absolutely. But Seahawks offense, so no shortage of weapons out there in the PNW, all right? So this secondary definitely does have its hands full. And speaking of, man, the best matchup in this one, I'm going D-Will versus DK. This is going to be a fun one to watch, man. Metcalf, I will say this about DK Metcalf. Physically, absolutely insane. Physical specimen, dude. As far as athletes go, DK Metcalf top notch. As far as an NFL wide receiver goes, I would just say that he's pretty good. I don't think that just raw athleticism and being a physical freak like DK Metcalf is makes you inherently just a great wide receiver. And I think that is misunderstood when it comes to DK Metcalf. And maybe this is just the enemy talking here. Maybe I'm just a Rams fan who doesn't like the Seattle Seahawks or DK Metcalf, and I'm trying to rationalize something here. But also, I really do feel that way. He drops a lot of balls. His effort level seems to vary depending plays and games. It depends, It does vary where that doesn't happen with a Puka or a Cooper, you know what I mean? But DK, I would say physically, when it comes to wide receivers, physically, maybe top notch. Maybe the number one physical receiver in the NFL. When you look at just athleticism, pure athleticism, as a wide receiver, he's just pretty good. I maybe put him top 10. Maybe. I'd have to really dig into a list here and start to rank some people and stuff like that. But either way, I don't put him super high. I just don't think he's that kind of guy. D. Will, though, returning. This Rams defense has been different since D. Will returned. And if we've got a guy that can take away the athleticism of a DK, it's D. Will. And that's going to be a great matchup to watch, man. Great matchup to watch. Take a look 3 to C on the defensive side here. Jared Verse. Yeah, putting him here probably forever. All right, he is so dope. Jared Verse is so awesome. I am digging Jared Verse so much, man. He's becoming one of my favorite guys for sure. He is so dope. His Rams Revealed is making him like just, he's putting him into the consideration of favorite player for myself. All right, that's definitely a thing. The way he came out doing the skull clap to those Vikings fans after they were doing it when Cam Curl was down on the ground, loved that. I love the trash talk, man. I love it. It was so much fun to watch. I was talking about that. It's like we needed like a Cortland Finnegan, somebody to start getting into the opponent's head. That's Jared Verse. That is Jared Verse. And he is talking, man, all day. Absolutely love it. And he talked about it in his Rams Revealed that he's trying to get into the opponent's head, but he said that like it was firing up Michael Hoyt. It was firing up Bobby Brown. And that the other guys were like, hey, man, chill. And he's like, I won't. I absolutely love that, dude. So Jared Verse, absolutely, man. He was getting after Darnold last week. He was wrecking that offensive line all day long. And we're watching the shift in Verse right now, where the skill set and the confidence level are kind of syncing up, and it's creating quite the storm, man. It's starting to feel like we are watching the beginning of what will be a really, really good career out of Jared Verse. This guy's exciting and pumped that we've got him on our squad. Next up, Quentin Lake. Putting Lake on here again because he's really, really coming into his own. He's a really fun player to watch. On my rewatch of the Vikings game, watching him fly around, man, watching the decisions that he's making, you can tell, man, this guy's a different kind of player. I don't think he's getting the love that he deserves yet, even from Rams fans, I'll say. But we needed this to happen, especially against the top passing attack. We need everybody in the secondary to be on for this game. First-ranked pass attack for the Seahawks. But it feels like this defense, this secondary can be on. We're playing very, very good football lately. Ever since Trey White got bumped down and D. Will's been back, Akello's been back. The secondary is different, man. It's absolutely awesome. But it will be on the captain, Quentin Lake here, to make sure that everybody is hyped up, man. So stands to reason that should happen. Next up, we're going to go with Kobe Turner. Let's not forget the conductor here, all right? I feel like a lot of eyeballs going to Jared Verse, going to Byron Young, even Braden Fisk. But the conductor, man, he is playing insane. His role on the defensive side, I kind of mentioned it before, man, and I kind of stand by it. He's playing the Michael Brockers role in an Aaron Donald world, man. And he's doing like 2 jobs right now, but it's absolutely awesome. And he's killing it up there, man. He's firing everybody up. This team is just different with this front right now, man. It's very exciting stuff. Could you imagine if Donald was still around? Oh, man. Sorry about your offensive lines, dude. That wouldn't even be fair anymore. So maybe that's what the NFL decides. Like you can't keep playing Donald. You can't have all these guys, man. You can't be perfect, okay? Rams. That's probably what Goodell said. His words, dude, not mine. But either way, it's right now the way this front is, like a lot of people, depending on the team, they decide who they want to double. Minnesota was picking Jared, which he said he loves because that makes him better. He's got to find a way to get around that now. And also, it opens up guys like Kobe to have a one-on-one. Dude, and I'm so glad that JB Long brought this up in the Rams Revealed, that he is on the sideline talking about this like, I love it, man. I love this stuff. I love when they double team me. Cause now I got and he's talking to Josh Carty. I laughed so hard about that. So I'm so glad that JB Long brought that up. And he was like, was the kicker the one that you like, he's like, did that just happen? Or was this like you chose to get to unload this on Carty? Carty needed to have this. Like, Carty's probably sitting over there like, all right. Absolutely love it, dude. But Kobe Turner, man, I think if he's able to pull I think he's going to pull the double teams against Seahawks. But let's see how he handles it, man. It should be a fun one, man. No matter who Seattle picks, though, I trust all these guys. All 4 of these guys on the front right now, and that's not including Hoyt and Bobby Brown and stuff like that. I'm talking 8, 0, 55-91, man. Those guys, any of those guys, I trust absolutely to win on one-on-one. Hoyt, absolutely. Brown, absolutely. But our top four, man, I absolutely imagine that they can score some one-on-ones and do a good job there. Take a look at some connections in this one. Former Rams who are now on the Seahawks. Offensive pass game coordinator Jake Peetz, he's up in there, Seattle. And linebacker Ernest Jones IV, who, is the Seahawk now. So he's the enemy. Former Seahawks on the Rams. We have tight end Colby Parkinson. We have safety coach Chris Beek, or is it Beaky? I think I've heard Beaky. And senior defensive assistant Sean Desai, and wide receiver coach Yarbs. He was the offensive quality control back in 1998 for Seattle Seahawks. Some NFL connections. Matthew Stafford played in Detroit with guard Laken Tomlinson. Jimmy Garoppolo played in San Francisco with guard Laken Tomlinson. So yeah, we should know that guy pretty well, I think, right? And Demarcus Robinson, D-Rob, and Christian Roseboom, they did play in Kansas City with nose tackle Jaron Reed. D-Will played in Jacksonville with Laviska Shenault and safety Rayshawn Jenkins. Cam Curl played in Washington with quarterback Sam Howell, who the Rams really made a push to grab themselves. K-Dot played in Pittsburgh with wide receiver Miles Boykins and wide receiver Cody White as well. Some college connections. Davis Allen and Tyler Davis played at Clemson with safety Kevon Wallance. Stet Bennett and Warren McClendon played at Georgia with running back Kenny McIntosh. A.J. Jackson played at Iowa with Noah Fant. I would love to see an A.J. Jackson extension soon. That'd be pretty cool to see. Blake Corum and Josh Wallace played at Michigan with tight end A.J. Barner, defensive end Mike Morris, center Olu Olawatimi. Nailed it. Running back Zach Charbonnet. Jordan Whittington played at Texas with Brian Murphy, and I'm not going to talk about Texas without mentioning my Aggies. Bobby Brown played at A&M with Tyrell Dodson. Q Lake played at UCLA with Zach Charbonnet. Britton Brown and Kenny Polamalu, that's the running back's coach. So the coach for Zach Charbonnet and Britton Brown, they're both running backs who in UCLA played under the tutelage of Kenny Polamalu, and he's now the running back coach there. So followed them along. Pretty cool stuff. Brennan Jackson played at Washington State with Abraham Lucas. Tyler Higbee, Big Rig Higgs, played at Western Kentucky with tackle George Fantasius. Nailed it. Puka Nacua played at BYU with Jaron Hall, quarterback. And Charles Woods played at SMU with Devere Levelston. Some milestones we are keeping our eyes on or reaching. We'll start with Sean McVay. Yes, man, reached the most wins by a Rams head coach in franchise history. Has officially 80 right now, and it happened on his son's first birthday. Jordan McVay, what a birthday present you got as your dad creates history. Love to see it. McVay is only the second head coach since the merger to lead a franchise in wins before turning 40, joining John Madden and the Raiders. Maybe McVay will take over the Madden series in some time. And we'll see McVay 32, cover athlete Jared Verse for the third straight year. Matthew Stafford needs 32 completions to pass Kurt Warner for seventh most in Rams history. That's attempts, sorry. Needs 32 attempts to pass Kurt Warner for seventh most in Rams history. He needs 29 completions to pass Kurt Warner for fifth most in Rams history. Needs 15 touchdown passes to tie Bob Waterfield for seventh most in Rams history. Cooper Kupp tied Elroy Hirsch for third most touchdown receptions in Rams history. So with one more, we'll stand alone in third place, only behind Isaac Bruce and Torrey Holt. Cooper Kupp, one of the best players this franchise has ever seen. We're watching him play now. It's very exciting stuff. And Puka Nacua, fourth most receptions in a player's first 19 games in NFL history. This guy is absolutely on fire. He's Puka Nacua. I am Puka Nacua today. So you're welcome, Rams fans. Demarcus Robinson notched his second multi-touchdown game in his career. That happened last week against the Minnesota Vikings. Kyren Williams, he needs 38 rushing yards to pass Darrell Henderson for 23rd most in Rams history. And he is on pace to end the season with a career total of 2,577 rushing yards, which would put him 15th all-time in Rams history, just ahead of Cleveland Gary and just behind John Arnett. So rather exciting stuff there, man. Big old football game, man. It's a divisional game. It's our third of the season. It's our first time against the Seahawks. Of course, get them later on this year. Is that the last game of the season? That is, I got to get rid of these notifications. Get out of my face. Yes, last game of the season. We'll also see the Seattle Seahawks. That will be at home, though. So got to get this one, man. Again, but to kind of wrap it up for you here, is a Rams win and a Bears win this weekend puts the Rams in first place of the NFC West. Let's get it. We got Fan Quesos. That's next on Ram Showcase. Welcome back in Ram Showcase. I am Sheriff Joe Bags. Time to get into a spooky edition of our Fan Quesos. We're going to start on the Facebook page here. First one, Cody says, favorite Rams Halloween memory. That's a tough one, man. I know the Rams, they absolutely beat the butt cheeks off the Texans a few years back. That was pretty cool on Halloween. What a treat, if you will. I'm going to go with that. I'll say that. Unless I can just go right now of being the first Halloween that I put it together that I have long hair and so does Puka Nacua, and I also have his jersey. So, dude, when worlds collide, dude, that's not, when in Rome or whatever. I'm just going to start using sayings in the wrong sense. Next one here from Cody. How many sacks do we get on Geno until he cries? Dude, like one. Yeah, should be a good one, though, for the Rams defense to really pin their ears back and get after it. They are a team that likes to pass the ball. They are first in the league when it comes to passing. And the only thing with the Rams is we are not blitzing that much this year. So when we do, I think it works well because I don't think teams are expecting it as much. They just kind of assume that we're not gonna. So when we do fire somebody in there, like a Durant on there, like getting that fumble sack, which led to a curl touchdown, stuff like that, I mean, I think it goes well. But Geno is a guy that I think this team can get after. He's not as like quick shifty like a Kyler that like a Jared Verse will. I don't think we're going to see those same struggles in this one. And Verse talked about that as well. He kind of laughed it off of like, yeah, I should have a lot more sacks actually too. Like, and I think this is one where he can get in there and take advantage. So let me look at who is the. Of course, it's going to all slow because I'm recording here. Okay, I'm just going to go back. Never mind. Ignore that. Doesn't matter. Let's see here. Next up, Cody says, who is Stafford going to have a spooky, scary touchdown bomb to first? You know what? I'm going to go with Tutu, dude. We're going to ride the Tutu train to the end zoneville or something. That was weird. I don't know. But I think that Tutu is going to be a big beneficiary this week, like D-Rob was last week. Because I think that what's going to happen here is that there's going to be a lot of times where somebody does a really good job, and then like the next week, that team tries to pay attention to them. So you have, I feel, a team in the Seattle Seahawks who is going to be like, okay, we obviously got to watch 10 and 17, but now D-Rob is a guy to keep our eyes on. And then Tutu is just going to be like, that's my Tutu impression. And he's just going to be flying by people, dude. I really think that could happen this week. So the Tutu trade, man, all aboard. Heck yes. Let's see. I did not read any of these beforehand from Peo or from Rams House. So we're just going to fire off here. So, yeah, we'll start here. Rams House. So much fun seeing Puka and Cupper Coop out there. Let's see. So much fun seeing Puka and Cup back out there again. Not a question, but hell yeah, dude. That was so sick and unexpected. Like, I didn't think there was any way that Nacua would be back. His practice window opened up on, Tuesday? And then all of a sudden it's, questionable. And it was like, seeing that he was questionable, it was one of those where it's like, yeah, probably not, though. Like, he's probably not playing. Like, he just opened up his practice window. Like, we expected him to be a few more weeks out still. And then he's playing. And not only is he playing, he's, murdering it, dude. He's crushing skulls and stuff. Like, what is crushing souls? Cracking skulls, crushing souls. See, even I forget what I say. But yeah, it was absolutely awesome, man. To have those guys back is unreal. It's to be able to have moments where we get those guys together is insane. Like the numbers too. I'm sure you heard of them. They talked about it on every show when when Puka and Kupp are in together with Stafford, the Rams are averaging almost 400 yards a game, 28 points a game, and it's just all systems go, dude. And it's only happened a few times, but it's on. And then when Kyron's also in the backfield, dude, this offense, you get those four together, the four horsemen, dude, then yeah, it's big time, man. It's big time. Rams house, what's your favorite thing about McVay and Snead? Ooh, that's a good question, man, because I think what I would say, maybe not the same for each of them, but for McVay, I like that he's pretty level-headed in the sense, too, that like when the Rams lose, he does come out here and say, like, you know, that he's got to do a better job and stuff like that. And I know some fans have gotten kind of frustrated with that of like, yeah, but just do it then. And it's like, well, this is also the best coach we've ever seen in our history, so like, relax. Like, we can't just go undefeated every time. That's not realistic. So I think that the way that he's able to keep it level-headed and kind of, I think he says it to us on shows like the McVay show and stuff like that of just like, hey, you just got to keep grinding, keep stacking blocks. You know, adversity is it's a time to show who you are and stuff like that. I think that he really is that guy. Like he is doing that in the locker room and in meetings and stuff like that. He is this. So I like that he's able to do that. And for Les Snead, I like that Les Snead is not afraid, and Sean as well, to make some moves that might be perceived as very bad with the idea of like, we know what we're doing. We can't tell you though. Like Kenny Young being traded to the Denver Broncos for and a seventh for a 6th round pick. And he was like, come on, man. Like it's one of those, but then it's like, because all of a sudden it was like, why are we just getting rid of Kenny Young? He's like our best linebacker right now. And then all of a sudden a few weeks later, turns out, you know, you bring in Von Miller. And I kind of talked to Peo about this a little bit because we're like, obviously the timing of that one was super weird, but Von Miller was rehabbing. He was still rehabbing when he got to the Rams. I don't think he played his first game. He was on the sideline still. So I think that they make moves with the idea of like, yeah, they couldn't tell us like, hey, don't be sad about Kenny Young because we're going to get Von Miller in a few weeks. You can't do that. You just have to keep that quiet. And I like that I can trust them, I think, is where I'm trying to get with this, is like, I can trust when we make a move that's like, well, let's see what's going on here. The Ernest Jones one is still a weird one. And there's more to that story that we don't know, but like Todd Gurley, getting rid of him. And it's like, well, let's see. Turns out Todd Gurley was done. You know what I mean? Like, move on from guys. And then it's like, well, yeah, it's like they had a little bit left. Robert Woods, he was still playing good football, but like, it's okay to move on from people and then bring in a Puka Nacua and stuff like that. Like it has worked. And so I trust these guys to even making moves that were like, what are we doing out here? That you kind of, in the back of my head, I'm always like, well, what? There's some kind of plan in place. I trust that. Next one here from Rams House. Did you notice anything off about Kupp last game? Not in terms of play-wise, but he seemed off. Okay. Wasn't getting that excited for things. Seemed kind of sad during the game. Really noticed it in the locker room after the game when Stafford came up to Puka and him. Video sound from the game. Yeah, I remember that. He just seemed dejected. Okay. Not trying to read into anything because I understand he's not getting traded based off McVay's comments. Just want to see if you noticed it too. No, and I've watched everything from that game pretty heavy, I would say. I wouldn't say that I noticed that he was sad or like, what did you say? Dejected. No, I wouldn't put a vibe on him like that. I just think that I think he was getting back into football, man. I think I think that the Stafford and Kupp combo, those guys were game face. I think that that's what it was. I think that those guys were locked in, and he still had a good game. It's not like he was like playing poorly or anything like that. I don't know, man. I didn't notice it, and I also, I don't know. That's an interesting observation, but yeah, I would say I think I got the vibe that they were just locked in. Like Kupp was just wanting to play some ball, man. He's been out for a little while. I think that's frustrated him, you know. So I think he was just there. And Stafford was the same way because Stafford wasn't joking around stuff like that. Stafford was game faced, man. Like Stafford was in it. So I don't know if I necessarily agree or disagree. Maybe I should rewatch and kind of see if I pick up on it. But I didn't pick up on that when watching stuff initially. Let's see here. If the Rams end up making a move at the deadline, this is Rams House as well. Who do you see being the guy or position group we address? It's got to be inside linebacker. We were talking about secondary earlier in the season when it came to trade stuff. But right now, I would say for sure it's got to be inside linebacker. Troy Reeder is on IR. Spates came in. and did okay, but did about what I expected him to. He's kind of getting blown back on some blocks, took a few bad angles and stuff like that. But, I mean, he's a UDFA playing in his first game, so, I mean, you kind of expect to see a little bit of roughness out there. But he also did decent. He had a few plays in there where you're like, all right, dude, get in there, man, get in there. So that was exciting. But Spates, I think he just needs time to keep going. But I would say that's probably where it would be. Outside of that, man, I'm not really sure where the Rams would be like, where they're like itching for somebody, outside of the inside linebacker spot. This one here, let me just quickly, let's see. Yeah, I'm going to end on Peo here. So next one here from Rams House. What's your favorite thing about Rams football? Whoa, man. That's a hard question, dude. Oh, man. Without going into too many details, I guess, which I realize is not the point of Fan Quesos, but the reason that I've gotten into the Rams and have made it such a big part of my life, the stories from long ago, I guess, they were. I was looking for something, man. I was looking for something to distract myself from some things that were less awesome in my life. And at the time, being 8, 9, 10, 11 years old, football was what I went to, which, I mean, you give that situation that I was in, specifically my situation that I was in, I think you do that, 9 more times, and the other 9 selections are not football. The other 9 selections are negative things, you know what I mean? So, I love that I found football. I think that football and the Rams as like a whole, as an organization, were like the older brother that I needed at that time. So my favorite thing about the Rams, man, is it's just that they exist. Like, that's what, and another reason, a little bit of a callback to what I talked about to open the show of like, I'm here for the ups and the downs, man, because even in some of those times in my life where I was needing something to kind of pull my attention away, even if it was just for 3 hours once a week, times when the Rams were bad. But I still took that time to just get lost in it. Seeing Mark Bulger and stuff, like throw to Donnie Avery and stuff. Like I would get lost in it, man. It's a really good question, man. But that's as detailed as I am willing to be on a Halloween episode. Yeah, that's, just that they exist, man. As long as the Rams are playing football, I'm good. That's it. That's it. That's it, man. The Rams are my life, and I'm cool with that. I'm fine with that. Some people like to say it's like there's more to life than football and stuff, and more to life than the Rams. Like they say, yeah, probably, and maybe one day I will have a wife and kids and all that stuff. But right now, I mean, I'm 33, single, no kids. I just live alone with a cat, and the Rams are the most important thing in my life, and I'm okay with that. I'm absolutely okay with that. Moving on. Next one here from Rams House. What would it be like sharing a room with Matthew Stafford and Cooper Kupp together? Your extra comment here is I feel like it would be like third wheeling, and you're absolutely right, dude. Those guys are best friends, and I would just be there just enjoying the show, dude. Also, is the new 9 and Dime out yet? I haven't checked that out yet. I need to check that out. I know that there's some guests on that, so that'll be fun, but I feel like they would just be like doing their thing and I'd just be like hanging out pretty much. That's it. Last one here coming from Peo time. I need your opinion, Joe. You've got it, man. What do you got here? What is the most appropriate amount of time to be down after a Rams loss? Great question. And in contrast, enjoy a Rams win. I am still very much enjoying the Rams Thursday night win, even though it feels so long ago. That's a really interesting question because I do feel like this is this is in the eye of the beholder here, man. For myself, if the Rams lose, I give myself my drive home to be upset about it. That's why on Facebook, if you're my Facebook friend, the post that I put after the game, win or lose, the post is the Rams' new record and the next opponent. It'll be like perfect example after the Minnesota Vikings game, the way that game ended, all the controversy that was into that. Still, the thing that I posted, 3-4 onto the Seahawks. That's it. And I enjoy the wins a little bit longer than I let myself be sad about the losses. But like I remember growing up, my dad was a very hardcore Chargers fan, and I remember hearing his story of there was a time when the Chargers lost, and the story that he was kind of telling, that he was in the living room, like watching SportsCenter or something like that. And one of us kids, I've got 2 sisters. We asked my mom something about my dad or something like that, and she's like, "Don't talk to him yet, though. The Chargers lost." And he said that really bothered him. That it was a known thing in the house that if the Chargers lost, he was in a bad mood. Don't talk to him, and it bothered him. So he changed his mindset with that of like, I can't let that bother me. I'm not going to let that ruin interacting with my kids because a team lost. That's silly. And even my upsetness when it comes to the Rams losing is just like, dang it, would have really liked to win that one. That would have been fun. That's it. That's the extent of it. I stopped getting so mad about it and stuff like that. And then you get endings like this where there was, the penalty that should have been called and it's not. But then that's happened literally 2 times to the Rams this season, against Detroit. I guess you could even, there was a holding call on the 4th down play that ended the game against the Packers that was missed. The Bears absolutely lit up. Matthew Stafford hit to the helmet on the last play. That pass was that intercepted or something like that? Something happened where that's how that game ended. And then Detroit had another one where should have been a penalty and it wasn't. So it's like, yeah, I mean, we can talk about that if we want to, but it's like not the point. But yeah, I give myself the drive home. The second I get home and I see my cat and stuff like that, it's like, all right, it's over, man. It's over. It doesn't matter. I didn't play. I didn't drop any passes or miss any tackles. So what do I got to be sad about, man? I'm still, my eyes still open. I still got some food in my fridge and a roof over my head. So what do I got to be upset about, man? And as far as the Rams win goes, I definitely let myself sit in those for a little bit and just enjoy it. It's fun, man, to do that. But I would say, again, to kind of go back to your question, what is an appropriate amount of time to be down as a Rams fan after a Rams loss? It's up to you, man. You could give it all week if you want to. You could give it in 0 time at all. The Rams lose, and you say you give it until you pay your tab at the bar, and that's it. You know what I mean? And then you're done. Then it's back to real world. I'm curious to know if anybody else has opinions on this. How long do you let yourself, or how long, even if you don't think about it, because I know some people don't, they just let it happen. They let their emotions happen. How long do you typically sit in a loss? How long do you sit in the Super Bowl loss? Because that one hurt, man. That one was rough, dude. There's videos out there where I'm just watching, I'm dressed up like an idiot because I got a sheriff hat on and stuff, and I'm just so upset. And that's kind of funny to me. There's those memes that just talk about, it's my favorite thing about football is when they pan to the crowd and they show a full-grown man dressed in the most ridiculous way possible, just super sad. And I just I think about that. I'm sitting there all in my sheriff hat, just in the game, going against the Packers. So it's so funny, dude. But either way, I don't know. I think that when you truly do take it, as I do, as you're here for the ups and downs, you don't get too high or too low. And that's, I think, the biggest point of what I'm trying to say here too, is that the extent, Patton Oswalt, I don't know if you know who Patton Oswalt is. He's a comedian. He was in King of Queens and stuff like that. He had a really good line in a stand-up special that he did where he was talking about his energy levels and his excitement levels and his anger on certain things that the paraphrasing of his jokes. I'm not going to just do his joke, but there's that when he was younger, he hated something God, I hate this. And then on the opposite side, something awesome happens. Yes, I love this so much. And then now that he's older, the worst he gets is oh. And then the best he gets is oh. And I think that's kind of where I've grown into as my fandom. And I talked about this. I had a long conversation with my sister yesterday about this, about just the shift in my fandom of that, and just not getting too up, not getting too down, man. I'm just here for the ride. As long as the Rams are playing games, I'm in, dude. The best thing ever in the universe, no matter win or lose, is a Rams game day. It's my favorite thing in the universe. I love it. That's why I love going to the playoffs, just because we get more of them. That's my biggest push on getting to the playoffs, is that we get more Rams game days, more best days ever. Absolutely love it, man. Good question. Hard question to answer, in fairness, because again, I am very much in the eye of the beholder version there. I'm not going to tell you how to be a fan. I'm not going to tell you that the way that I fan is better than the way that you fan. There's no wrong way to be a Rams fan. If you want to lose your mind, hell yeah, dude, lose it. If you want to just be all subtle about it and just be we lost. Moving on. That's cool too, man. Do whatever you got to do, all right? Just don't bother other people about it. All right? That is going to do it. Thank you so much for your fan quesos. Appreciate you dropping those in. We'll be back next week, of course, as that will be previewing a Monday night game. But first, we got the Seattle Seahawks Rams on the road in the PNW, heading up to take on the Seahawks, who will be in all blue. The Rams will be in white on blue, so dress accordingly. And I know I always do. I try to coordinate a little bit, but that's just me, maybe. But either way, got a big old football game going on this weekend. Should be fun. Again, to reiterate, two simple things happen. Rams win, Bears win. Rams are in first place, going all the way from last right now into first place in the NFC West and in control, baby. That's the way we like it. Heck yes. You can follow on socials at Sheriff Joe Bags, at Ram Showcase, ramshowcase.com as well. Again, Underdog Fantasy, promo code Showcase. Be sure to check that out. Links in the description below. But that is going to do it for me. I am Sheriff Joe Bags. This has been Ram Showcase on Sports Wall Radio and the Fansided Network. For those of you who aren't Rams fans, our thoughts and prayers are with you. For those of you who are Rams fans, thank you so much for watching, and go Rams.